When I think of sunflowers, I think of my grandma. In the 90s, the sunflower print was popular, and my grandma thought it was hideous. Naturally, the rest of our large family gave her stuff like hand towels and such that had sunflowers on it to tease her. Her twin sister lived 2 blocks away and had sunflowers growing on the side of her house. My cousin would pick them and bring them to my grandma's house, and they've been picked so much that they don't grow anymore. When I think of my grandma, I think of old movies and TV. She was in love with Elvis, and I remember watching Follow That Dream hundreds of times at least when I was young. The old VHS is probably still around somewhere. When I think of old movies, I think of coffee. I remember a lazy Sunday when I was 3 or 4 and asking for a sip of my grandma's coffee. My mom said that coffee would stunt my growth. Even though I know that's a myth, I still laugh at the idea. The average height in my family is 5'4", meaning we all must have been serial coffee drinkers at young ages if that were true. When I think of coffee, I think of going out to breakfast with her. When I was young, we went to Jim's Hamburgers, a small diner in Duluth. After that closed, my grandma's friends, who'd owned Jim's, began working at a new restaurant called The Other Place. We still ordered Jim-style pancakes, and Grandma always ordered pancakes with peanut butter. When I think of going out for breakfast, I think of all the craft projects she did. She was always the person that would fix a coat or hem a pair of jeans. She was always doing something, and her house was always filled with craft projects she was working on. When I think of her crafts, I think of all the support she gave me with my own hobbies. She was at every theater show I ever did. She told everyone she knew I worked at the radio station. At her funeral, so many strangers told me how proud of me she was. I didn't really care for their words then, but while cleaning out my grandma's house, my mom found a really poorly made ceramic bowl I made her, with a sunflower on it. Knowing that she kept it means more to me than any words that could ever be said. When I think of my grandma, I think of sunflowers. I think of the bright golden hues. I think of the way my grandma smiled. I think of the massive stems ever reaching towards the sky. I think of her voice. I think of the leaves growing in pairs. I think of the way she could light up the room. I think of how they bend in a storm. I think of how many obstacles and hardships she overcame. I think of how they seek out the sun, and I think of how she sought out the brightest days.